show that Mr. Cordova, Mr. Guadiana, and myself are present. I don't know if Holguin or Mr. Gomez are on.
Mr. Sepulveda, this is Frank Gomez. I'm on as well.
Okay, Frank. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Holguin, are you on? If not, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Okay. Entertain a motion for approval of agenda items.
Gomez, so moved.
Motion by Mr. Gomez, second.
Frank Cordova, second.
Second by Mr. Cordova. Any corrections to the agenda? Call for the motion. Call for the vote. Mr. Guadiana?
Aye.
Myself, yes. Mr. Cordova?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. We move to update on unfinished business administration. Mr. Mendoza?
Mr. President and members of the board, as carried on from our last board meeting last week, we have unfinished business under A, and it's the administration's recommendation to extend remote learning through the first semester, which is December 17th. And that's the recommendation at this point, sir.
You heard the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So move, Frank Cordova.
Motion by Mr. Cordova, second.
Second, Gilbert.
Second by Mr. Guadiana. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to make a comment regarding a change in the availability of computers. I'm very grateful for the intervention of our Lieutenant Governor Morales through his efforts of calling HP directly. After not learning that we still haven't got our computers, he seems to have been able to get that, and that's big relief, and makes this a much more viable option for us now in terms of how it affects our students. And is there any clarification on when that those computers are supposed to come in? I understand it's somewhere around Wednesday.
Mr. Guadiana, we have an update as of this afternoon from HP, and I'd like to yield to Mr. What's your name? I'll say,
Mr. President, members of the board, I did receive a call today from Katie McDermott from HP, and she did state that the shipment of the 800 Chromebooks and 101 Chromebooks touchscreen were en route to RTI. They should receive them either today or tomorrow at RTI. That's the latest. They've been shipped. So hopefully RTI will receive them today.
What's RTI?
That's Riverside Technologies Inc. That's the vendor.
So when will we get them there at Cobre?
RTI will ship them as soon as they receive them. They'll ship them to their warehouse where they will be programmed to our specifications, and then they will ship them to us. So they could be here by the end of the week or hopefully next week.
Okay.
Mr. President, Mr. President, I've got a question on this recommendation, on this motion. We can review this at any time that or do we have a date? How often can we review our decision?
Mr. Mendoza?
The recommendation from the board, from the administration, is that we do it on a school board meeting date. We just make it an agenda item. We can discuss the update and see how we're doing. And our next board meeting, as I understand, will be it's about 3 weeks from now. And we can sure bring it up and we'll see how we're doing. In terms
Good.
of, we still, in terms of whether we're continuing as a green, our county is in the green and not going into the yellow and the red. So I think that's a good suggestion, Mr. Cordova. I welcome that.
Thank you.
Another thing, Mr. Guardiana and members of the board, is along with your questions, we did distribute the hotspots today. And Joyce, will you give them a quick update of what happened there, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. So we did receive the 100 hotspots. I did distribute those to the schools today based on the list that the schools had given me as of this morning. From this morning to this afternoon, the list did grow. So I did get those hotspots out to the schools as well. So those are already getting into the hands of parents. Some parents already have them. Some of the other schools are still trying to contact parents so that we can get those out to the families as well. So those are out in the community.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President,
else?
yes, sir. Frank Gomez.
Go ahead.
In regards
Go ahead.
in regards to the tablet, so families that have more than one, each child will be issued a tablet?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they will. We have
Okay,
enough for
and then-
every student in the district.
All right,
Well,
and then
when
my
they
second
get here.
question. Right, and then my second question in regards to what Mr. Cordova said. So on a monthly basis, we'll review. So if there is a chance, there's a possibility that our students can go back to school before December?
Yes, sir. We can, based on what we read on our projections in terms of the COVID-19's affecting us, then we could sure do that. Remember that we first must bring in our pre-K through 5, okay, on a hybrid. And then right now, even if we were to bring our pre-K 5 in Tuesday of next week, we still have to wait 4 to 6 weeks for grades 6 through 12, according to the latest from our Secretary of Education from New Mexico.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have a concern. One of the reasons for looking at going further down the road was to offer some stability. It seems like if we're going to be reviewing this every board meeting, maybe once a month might be better, but certainly if we're going to be reviewing it every board meeting, that really doesn't give the stability that I think the teachers are looking for. And also I think there has to be a lot more demonstrated, perhaps before we make any decision to open the in-person classes, the board go and tour the schools to get a good look at the preparedness, as well as the administration give us a presentation on the cleaning schedules, who's going to do them, adequate staffing, also contingencies for if a teacher gets ill, if anybody contracts the virus, kind of an estimation of how many people will be in isolation because of that, and do we have the staffing to fill that void in such cases?
That's a good suggestion there, but we're currently working with NIMSHA and the PED department on protocol, what in terms of what's to follow and so forth, and we should be having that as early as this Thursday, the guidance from the New Mexico CDC, and then we go forward. But yes, and today personally, I was able to visit 3 schools And I went into classrooms and talked to teachers and the administrators, and I was very much impressed how well they've started their distance learning setups for their classroom. And right now, all we're waiting for is the additional signage that's needed for the hallways as to the routing and the so forth. Like when you go into the stores, they're waiting on the arrows and everything else that kind of guides our students all around. So I'm grateful that we're getting this extension a little bit because we're waiting on stuff like that. Plus Wednesday morning at 8:30, George and company will be sending some personnel people from the maintenance department to pick up a large shipment of PPE equipment that has been sent to us from the federal government through the state that will allow, it's sending us excessive, not excessive, but plenty of PPE equipment, everything from mask shields to masks to what else was it? What's it? Hand sanitizers, and then the gloves, and then the gowns that will be needed for the younger kids. Yeah, in addition to what we have, sir. So it's all falling in place, and it's all for the protection of our students.
Okay, and I kind of agree with Mr. Guadiana, Mr. Mendoza, that instead of visiting this thing every board meeting, maybe once a month we get an update of where we're at instead of every board meeting.
Well, it would be an update from the administration, and then we could, if need be, we could set that up when we need to have a vote on it. But certainly, I think it's a good thing for discussion only, see where we're at and so forth. As information on the superintendent's report, we can do that on a board meeting dates, so forth.
Okay. Well, thank you. Anything else?
Not at this time, sir. That concludes the administration's part.
Call for the vote. Mr. Guadiana.
And this is for, what was the motion? Because the original motion has been modified, it seems like. Could you clarify the modification?
Correct me if I'm wrong, board members, but it is that we go ahead and extend through the end of the semester, and that we'll review it as needed during the next board meetings to see where we're at in terms of the COVID and how it's affecting us, and whether we should come in, bring the kids in or not. So I welcome the interaction that we'll have in those times, but that's a motion right there, sir.
Yeah, the motion is that we go through the end of the semester with updates, probably once a month or every other board meeting.
Okay. I vote aye.
Okay. Myself, yes. Mr. Gomez.
Yes.
Mr. Cordova.
Yes, yes.
Motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Cordova. Thank you.
That's it. It's over.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yes. Did he give the chances to the student representative to speak? It doesn't matter.
I heard that the student, Mr. Guardiana, you were asking about the student? Tanya was supposed to be on. I don't know. I didn't see her name on there. Toya, I'm sorry, not Tanya.
Yeah, so
Toya.
that was, she was on. It's sad that she didn't get an opportunity to speak.
I'm sorry. She was invited to this one also. She's invited to all board meetings.
If you could reach out to her and say you apologize for that, and we'll make
I
sure
will.
that doesn't happen.
I will, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
No me asusten. Don't scare me by putting Mr. Carrillo. Okay, we're off. What would you like?